recording live?
Technically, yes.
Hello, my trigger happy friends. My name is Stevie Cade, and welcome to the podcast. This is the second episode, and joining me is somebody I've known his whole life, my son, Seth Draven. Hello, Seth.
Hello, Dad.
Do you have to sound so menacing?
No, I don't mean to sound menacing.
Yes, you do. He looked at me. He's glaring at me right now. He's wielding a knife. So we just wanted to do what this podcast is made to do and just talk about random shit. So I guess we want to talk about super nerdy stuff. Some, comic book movies?
Comic book movies. Yes.
Comic book movies.
DC, Marvel. There's a lot to talk about with that.
Are there any other comic book brands?
Bloodshot.
It's neither one?
No, it's neither one.
Oh, well, look at that. We just talked about it. Sweet.
Yeah, all right. There we go. That's everything we're talking about that isn't Marvel or DC.
What do you want to start off with, man?
Well, the Batman recently started filming. They've said that it's going to be more detective-ish, but I think it's, with the action and stuff, I think it's going to be similar to, like, Ben Affleck. And we don't technically know if it's in the DCEU or not. That hasn't really been confirmed.
So you say, like...
But I don't think it is.
You say the action's going to be like Ben Affleck. You think it's going to be more of a hard R? Or not hard R.
Not hard R, but like...
like he's going to straight up slice throats. No. But you mean it's going to have that, like, more intense action sequence, that more violent Batman? Because that's kind of what Ben Affleck's Batman was.
Yeah, at least the more, like, intense. Yeah, more violent, sure.
Yeah, because Batfleck really set a bar, a standard for Batman.
Yes, he did.
Future Batman.
No, Arkham did that, and then Ben Affleck used...
Well, cinematically speaking.
It was inspired by the Arkham games, and you know that. It's exactly the same. You even have the gun disablers. Is that what it's called? Yeah. That's not what it's called.
That's what it is. I knew exactly what you meant, so that works. Gun disablers. Yeah. That whole scene, that scene where he went to save Martha was definitely a very Arkham game style type of thing. So the Batman's a hard pill to swallow for me, and for a lot of people, because we wanted Ben Affleck Batman.
Yes, we wanted,
and it was going to be called The Batman. And
it's the same movie. It evolved into this. They didn't cancel Ben Affleck's and then start making this one. It evolved into this.
Yes.
Like Matt Reeves was attached to this movie when Ben Affleck was still attached.
We should make a meme, Scooby-Doo meme, where it's like, let's see who you really are. We should have like the Batfleck there in the chair, then have him unmask him, and it's actually Robert Pattinson's Batman underneath.
We could do that whenever they do a suit reveal.
Yes.
Which, speaking of suits, blue suit, blue and gray. What do you think? It's not confirmed, but if they were to reveal that first photo and the suit is blue, what are your thoughts?
This movie looks stupid.
I think it'll work.
Yeah, I know you do. I don't like the blue and gray suit. It doesn't make any sense to me. The only reason why blue is in the original comics to give off a reflection. People's hair had that sheen of blue, but you don't see people with blue hair in these fucking movies, right? Right. That's what that blue was, but for some reason people are like, Dad, that's blue. And then 1966 Batman's like, Dad, it's super blue. And then everyone's like, yeah, blue Batman. And I'm over here like, what the fuck? Thank God Tim Burton came out with, Batman in 1989, and he's like, it's all black. Because I remember when I saw that, Tim Burton's Batman, I was like, I love the black suit. Yes! And I remember hearing an interview with Tim Burton saying, well, I went with the black because, he hides in the shadows and stuff like this. You can't hide in the shadows. Sense. I mean, you hide in the shadows with the blue suit. It's like, man, what's that over there? Batman, like, crouching in the corner, and someone's like, what's that blue glow?
Yeah. Well, I would prefer a black suit, but I won't be mad if they do a blue suit. I think if it looks right, obviously, if it looks right, then I'll be happy. But if they mess it up, if it looks too weird, like if the if the color is off even a little bit, that could kind of ruin the suit.
I'll give you that.
It's too bright.
I did see a fan art of a gray and blue suit, and I didn't think it was too bad, but I still couldn't get behind that being a live action believable thing. somebody who hides in the shadows wouldn't choose gray and blue. Hear me out. If you want to put that blue suit in there as a tip of the hat, have it be as like snowsuit. You know, turn the gray and more white. That's what he dresses when he's in Antarctica or some bullshit like this. Then that I would buy the blue cape and, you know, the lighter gray, you know, suit. Now imagine this, if you will. What if they do like a black undersuit with a very deep, like navy blue armor? Maybe.
Okay.
That might work.
They
for
could
me.
do that.
But even, you know, in the posters for Justice League, you know, when they put that blue tint on the suit, it just didn't look good to me. It didn't look right. And
No, I didn't like it either.
and that's my fear. Like, I feel like that's how it's going to be. It's just not going to look right. I'm going to be very aware that it's blue the entire movie, rather than just seeing him in the shadows. So.
I hope it's black and gray, but like I said,
or just black on black, or black and
or
charcoal,
just black.
or...
My choice would be black and gray, but like I said before, if it's blue, I'm okay with that. Just make it look right.
Yeah, well, I think everyone's on board with just make it look right no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm okay with them changing the suit up, making it more technologically advanced, you know, even having lights that can glow as an intimidation factor. Have it make sense to make the make the suit serve a purpose, you know, like let's say like in the new, I think it's the new 52 comics. I don't know. I'm not really all into the actual comic books, but the one where he has that orange bat symbol, it's not the symbol's not orange, but it's outlined in orange.
Yeah.
Like if they had something like that, and then like a glue very bright orange to kind of like make the bad guy look down for a second, to avert their eyes for a second, that would make sense.
That would make sense.
A distraction,
I wouldn't mind that.
A distraction light, you know.
Yeah.
You know, or even strobes like.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, that would be cool. That's a whole different element right there.
Yeah.
Have the bat symbol on his chest like strobe like a light, so they become very disoriented. They can't see, and that gives that illusion. Or Batman's like kind of like jumping like feet in distance towards you. Oh my god, dude,
that's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea. You heard it here, folks. First.
Yep.
Right
If they do that,
Film Trigger.
they stole it.
I have high hopes for this movie. It's earned its high hopes that it's given me, just based on its casting. And I do like the changes that they're making to it. You know, let it be. You know, obviously, since it's not going to be Ben Affleck, they're changing the timeline a little bit. You know, race swapping characters. I've always been down for that. I don't have an issue with race swapping characters whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm very much into the belief that
Yes.
unless that character is supposed to be based in a certain region, then you can race swap all you want.
Right.
You know, like Black Panther.
That's a good example.
He's Wakanda, Africa, black. That makes sense.
That yes.
You know, Superman. I'm okay with Superman being a different race. And he's alien. He could be whatever. We can make him purple. But he wouldn't fit in with humans very well.
Imagine a purple Superman.
Well, his disguise would be very, very, very hard to do. Wow, Clark, I can't believe you're the same shade of purple that Superman is. I mean, talk about even like less believable than the glasses.
Right.
Well, he can't be the same Superman. He's purple, but he has glasses. Oh, well, that's definitely not Superman.
If they were to race swap Superman, I'd be okay with it. Like, I think we heard last year that Michael B. Jordan pitched a Superman.
Yeah, well, we heard
Warner
something
Brothers?
like that, some form of that. But then I think this year, or within the past few months, when we found out that Michael B. Jordan's the one that pitched it.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah,
I'd be okay with Michael B. Jordan playing Superman. Like, I really would. I think it
not DCEU Superman.
No, not DCU Superman.
No, don't. You can't.
I want Henry Cavill back. I'm just
Yes,
saying
I mean, who doesn't want Henry Cavill back? You know, put Michael B. Jordan in his own Superman movie. That's fine. But when that rumor came about, that ended up being true later. But when it came about, people were thinking that they were going to swap Cavill out with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, wait a minute, that's really putting a square peg in a round hole there. It's just not going to work.
Yeah. Now there is, forgive me if I'm wrong, but his name is Calvin Ellis.
Oh, he's. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a black Superman.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they were going to make it specific to his skin color that he is black, and they wanted to do that, yeah, it's definitely one of the avenues that they could take to tell a different Superman story, for sure. You know, and not have it be the same regurgitated Superman Clark Kent story that we've had over and over again.
Right.
But even if they did regurgitate the same story over again and they wanted to make it a black Superman, I'm totally down for that. And be honest with you, going back to Batman, I don't think Bruce Banner. I don't think Bruce.
We're not
Wayne,
there yet.
Bruce Wayne, you know, nothing about his character says he has to be white. You know,
Right.
And I would be interested in seeing a race swapped Batman, just based on curiosity. I'd like to see how that changes his origins even a little bit.
While we're talking about the Batman, still, we should talk about some of the set photos. Now, there really isn't much to see with the set photos. Like, we saw one photo with Robert Pattinson, and his face was covered.
Yeah, and it might be a stuntman. Yeah.
And it might be a stuntman. We don't even know that.
Yeah,
It looked like Robert Pattinson. I'm pretty sure it was Robert Pattinson.
I posted that on Film Trigger saying that my childhood was ruined because it's the worst bat suit I've ever seen.
I saw that.
And Laura Durbin, Chris Durbin's wife from the channel Durbania, commented, "Well, I don't think that's the bat suit." And I'm like, I don't really think that either. I was just being silly.
Imagine if it is. Like, that's the bat suit.
You know what? I would be okay if that was some form of it, like his first.
You'd be more okay with that than a blue Batman suit.
Well, it seemed. No, I'm not saying if that's his bat suit, but like, in Batman Begins, when he had on that, you know, the ski mask and the black outfit, and he, you know, like he wasn't Batman yet. I'd be okay with something like that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that too.
You know, that year one Batman stuff, but this isn't a year one Batman. This is a seasoned Batman that we're getting.
Right.
That's what Matt Reeves said that he's going to already be Batman for, you know, a little bit of time here.
Yeah.
But yes, the set photo didn't really show too much besides that they are in fact filming.
Yeah. Well, with the set photos though, like most of the set photos are just like cars that say HD on them.
I think that kind of dismisses the rumor that this is a 90s film, that it's held in the 90s. Because HD wasn't a thing till 1999, and yeah, and I don't see a movie being particularly a 1999 film.
Right.
You know, it might
maybe
it would take place from like 1999 to like, you know, 2000 something. You know, I feel like it would transfer over into the 2000s or even early, like even if it's placed in the early 2000s, that's believable. But everyone was thinking like 92 through 95.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, HD don't exist then. So like, and why would they make that a thing for HD to exist? You know, like, well, in this world, HD did exist in 1993. Like, that's stupid. Don't do that. But yes, right. Penguin. I wasn't a fan of the Colin Farrell choice, only because I'm not a huge Colin Farrell fan. But I've changed my tune since then because I've come to the conclusion that I was not giving him a fair shot because I was judging him on Daredevil, which is ironic.
But didn't he played Bullseye in that? Didn't I've never even seen that movie.
But Ben Affleck was also in Daredevil, and he was Batman. So like,
imagine if they did that again. Like if Ben Affleck was starring in this movie and they got Colin Farrell to be Penguin, that would have been kind of cool. Like to reunite.
Colin Farrell like opens up his penguin umbrella and it's a bullseye. Ooh.
I mean, that's kind of like a classic Penguin thing. Not necessarily a bullseye, but like the circle.
The circles. The dizzy eyes.
Yeah.
Thing. Colin Farrell, he gained weight and he's blonde.
His hair's white.
White, blonde, very light in color.
Yes. Now I have a little theory. It's nothing like big. They didn't confirm Colin Farrell as Penguin until the set photos came out. Okay. Like up until then, we'd heard that he was in talks, and everyone kind of just assumed he was cast, but they hadn't said anything. And then when the set photos came out, Matt Reeves posted that he was Penguin. So that part of that leads me to believe that they've already cast characters that we haven't heard about yet, like Two-Face.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's cast, and they just haven't said anything yet. Mad Hatter, Firefly. If those characters are actually in the movie, I'm sure they've already been cast.
And even if they might not even have a big role, they might actually be smaller characters that are going to be filmed on set and not even outside, where we can get, you know, random photos from people on the streets or anything like that. We might not even see them. They might be a secret until we see a trailer or even the movie itself.
Yeah. They already have 3 villains. They have Penguin, Catwoman, and the Riddler. Do we really need more?
If they're doing like Hush, or if they're like a Hush style movie, or if they're doing, Long Halloween, then yes, those storylines have a lot of villains in them, and that's the purpose of those stories, is to have a lot of villains. I just hope that no matter what happens, the studio just lets Matt Reeves do what he wants to do.
Well, they did a good job with letting Todd Phillips do what he wanted to do with Joker.
Well, yeah,
and
because
same thing for James Wan with Aquaman. So I don't care what people say. I love Aquaman.
Well, my theory behind that is after all that Snyder Cut debacle, which is still going on.
Yes.
I think the studio is like, we should probably just shut our fucking mouths for a little while. Let's not mess with any other movies for a minute.
Well, their first movie that they mess up again better not be Batman. Or their first DC movie, because it looks like, Godzilla vs. Kong is not in the best spot right now. But we'll see. It was delayed a lot, so like from March to November.
Yeah, but we don't know why. I mean, maybe something stupid happened, and like they went to show like the final cut, and Godzilla's arm was sticking out of the back of his head or something. They're like, oh god, how'd that happen? Oh no, the numbers got crossed. That's gonna be a 9-month fix.
That'd be weird if that's what happened. But I'm willing to bet that that is not what happened.
My point is
I know
you don't know why they did that. You don't know what their purpose was in holding all that back.
Yeah, I understand your point.
So yeah, the Batman, I am excited for it. To conclude all this, to conclude that part of it, I am excited for the new Batman movie. I haven't seen any real missteps. If I see the Batsuit is going to either lose or gain a lot of people. When that reveal shows, you have to sell people on the Batsuit. If you don't sell them on the Batsuit, you're not going to sell them. I mean, think about Titans. When the first reveal of the Batsuit for Titans came out, people hated it, and no one's liked Batman since on that show.
True.
And rightfully so, for a couple different freaking reasons. Number one, he's Alfred.
I don't like the guy who plays Bruce Wayne on Titans.
No,
he's weird.
He's Alfred. He's Alfred, but they call him Batman. Like, what I mean by that, like he looks more like an Alfred. He comes across as more like an Alfred. I don't see this guy beating criminals to a bloody pulp with his bare hands, on, swinging off rooftops. I see him, helping an old lady cross the street. But anyway, off of Titans. I don't even want to get started on that shit. But
I didn't even get to finish season 2, so
neither did I.
That's because it is bad. We watched 4 episodes. We don't even know what the story is. Yeah,
and then my DC Universe subscription ended, and I had no desire to re-up. I hear the Harley Quinn show is good, but I'm sure that will end up on something else soon.
Yeah, I mean, Doom Patrol's already going on to HBO Max, so I don't see why the other stuff wouldn't. Titans, Harley Quinn, Stargirl, Swamp.
I don't see why they even have DC have its own thing. It really needs to be under the HBO Max wing of streaming. But whatever. Either way. So yeah, it's the new Batman movie's not in the DCEU that we know of. Most likely not going to be. Doesn't seem like it's going to be. And if it is, they got some splaining to do. The Flash.
That's an interesting one. There's a lot to talk about with The Flash. Well, kind of. The fact that it's went through like 6 directors or something.
Yeah, but
5 or 6.
But now we seem to be stuck on what's his name from It. He was the last director to be announced, and we haven't heard much about it since, except the cameo.
I knew.
Cameo on.
We both knew we were about to bring it up.
On the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yep, the very unexpected cameo from Ezra Miller.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that kind of like shows them. They're like, hey, we're still doing this. Ezra Miller is still Flash.
And the fact that I heard it was Warner Brothers that called.
Yeah, I did hear that.
That called CW?
Yeah.
And said, hey, can we get him in there? To me, that
gives me hope.
That's a move. That's a, hey, we need to get this guy in there. Hey, we know it's taken a while. Here's a little flash, a little something you didn't expect. Breathe new life into it. keep being excited about the movie that's coming out,
Yeah.
and not a Flash.
Yeah, the movie's still not even coming out until July of like 2022.
Well, I know there was also speculation that Ezra Miller was not going to continue as the Flash.
I've always thought that was ridiculous. Like, now with Warner Bros. Confirming it, you know, it's like, okay, now we can finally settle down. But I've always thought that it was like I never saw him leaving the role.
Well, it wouldn't even be him leaving the role, I think, as much as just getting him in the movie to line up at the right time, you know. But they seem to really want to keep him in that role, and to me, that cameo that he did was like, okay, don't worry, he's still here. I didn't watch the actual episode, but I did watch that scene.
Yeah, me too.
It was a little goofy, obviously TV writing, but Andy gets to name the Flash from that. Okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
For me, how I think that would continue being fun is if they actually did bring that up in the movie.
That would be cool.
But yeah.
How much do you want to bet the movie's final line is "I am the Flash"?
Or what if they even add in like him actually disappearing and going to that universe and then coming right back into the movie? Nah, that's too creative. That's something Marvel would do and people would love, and
Yeah.
DC would do and people would hate.
I'm really curious about the Flash though, because like, who's the villain? We don't know anything about it.
Well,
we
there's-
heard that it's like kind of based on Flashpoint, but it's going to be very different.
And we also, wasn't there a rumor that chick that was in It, who starred in It, the redhead, Reverse Flash?
I haven't heard that.
I saw a quick thing of it.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be an interesting change.
Yeah, I don't
Kind of.
I don't think I know enough about Flash to even say if I like that idea or not.
Everything I know about Reverse Flash comes from the TV show,
Yeah.
which I'm still gonna say this: the first 2 seasons of The Flash I really like, and then it just was downhill from there.
I just want a new Flash movie just because I liked him in Justice League and the little cameo he had in BVS. Like, he's been hyped up since 2015.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
let's get this guy in a freaking movie already. But I don't know. We'll find out. I won't believe anything until we hear they've started filming and we see a set photo.
Right.
Oh, but you said it might be a Flashpoint, loosely based storyline.
Yes.
Something like that.
Which, I'm just gonna throw this out there. If they do that, they better bring back Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Batman. I would love that.
Yeah, of course. Everybody wants that.
Everyone wants that.
Jeffrey
And
Dean Morgan wants that.
I think, even though Zack Snyder really only had his 5-part plan, I think he kind of had that in the back of his head.
Well, yeah, of
Because
course.
that's too perfect of a casting. That's like a really good casting.
Of course, Zach. I mean, he obviously knew that they were probably going to do spin-offs
Right.
of these movies, so he knew. I mean, heck, even before Justice League came out, Flash was rumored to be Flashpoint storyline.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, at Comic-Con in I think it was 2017. Yeah, Comic-Con 2017, the movie was titled Flashpoint.
Yeah, so there you go. So, like, obviously that was in the works. You know, Jeffrey Dean Morgan wants it. We all want it.
Yeah.
But even then, this Flashpoint thing, they could really use that to clean up to the DCEU. We've always said that.
Yeah, they could definitely do that. And I think that's kind of what they're going for.
Yeah, maybe. They also, Grace Randolph also said Wonder Woman 84 might even do a Flashpoint thing-ish resemblance.
I don't think so. You see, everyone has these high hopes for Wonder Woman to like reboot the DCEU, and I'm over here. It's like it's just gonna be another Wonder Woman movie. Like I don't think it's really gonna be anything that special.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I was one of those that thought that they needed to do some explaining
And
in Wonder Woman 84, but like the trailers I've seen, it does look like its own standalone film.
you know,
but
it's
then-
just because it's not a sequel.
What? Right. What? What do you mean? But what does that mean?
I don't know.
What does that
like,
mean?
Suicide Squad, I can kind of understand, like, you know, like calling the Suicide Squad, not a sequel to the first one. I can kind of understand that because they seem to be going for like a completely different tone, mostly new characters. You know, they're bringing back, of course, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, and Rick Flag and Amanda Waller. That's it.
Right now, I'm in this DCEU purgatory where I'm just waiting on some explanation of the Justice League.
Yeah. I think if Flash doesn't give that to us, I don't think we're getting one.
What about possibility of them releasing the Snyder Cut? We've all thought maybe it couldn't happen, but now, more than ever, it seems like it might. And
Yeah.
it most likely will. Now, if it does, will Warner Brothers keep this canon?
Based on the way they're going, I don't think so. I think they would release it just for the fans. If they keep it canon, it's only fair to bring back Zack Snyder to kind of finish his story.
Yeah.
I think it's only fair if they do consider it canon. But based on the way things are going, it seems like things are taking a completely new direction. You know, with Robert Pattinson's Batman, and I guess Aquaman was called a sequel to Snyder Cut. Like, it continues from the ending of the Snyder Cut.
The only problem is Warner Brothers. They're the only ones holding this up. Now, why would Warner Brothers be holding up their two most popular characters? Unless there is something in the background with the Snyder Cut that they're trying to put a Band-Aid over and keep the Snyder Cut canon and bring them back into the DCEU. But they haven't done that yet. Maybe they're just trying to figure out a way to fix what they fucked up. They got them underneath a Warner Brothers blanket. They're protecting their two main characters. That's how I'm seeing it. You know, I don't know. But it's all delicate. We could be completely wrong about everything. It's all just a guessing game, unfortunately. But I do feel that Snyder Cut is well on its way to being released, and possibly even Snyder Vision. # release the Snyder Vision. You know, the original 5-part arc. You know, and who knows? If they're gonna throw all this money at it, they might even just let him put back the Steppenwolf, the original Steppenwolf design. You know, and do reshoots to get in some things that he didn't have time to shoot. You know, like Martian Manhunter, he didn't have time to shoot that scene.
Yeah, I think if they stuck with this 5-part plan, it really could have been something more than the MCU could have ever done.
Yeah.
Like, we don't...
And before the MCU did it.
Before the MCU did it.
Yeah.
And no hate on the MCU. I'm just going to say this. I really love the MCU. But you don't need all these characters. Like, you know, they have pretty much every Marvel character that ever showed up in the Endgame finale. For this Justice League 5-part thing, you don't need that. Like, you can have just as epic of a moment with just the main, like, 7.
Yeah.
You know, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern. You can even throw in a few more. Like, if you wanted to, you could throw in Shazam.
Yeah.
Like, they really could have done something big, you know.
They
like,
still can.
They still can. They have time to do this. It hasn't been that long since BVS came out. Like, it's been almost 4 years.
Right.
It's not that long.
In 2 years since Justice League came out.
Yeah.
You know,
So
so it's still relatively fresh on people's minds. So Justice League, release the Snyder Cut. What about Suicide Squad, release the Ayer Cut?
I'm for it. I mean, I'm not gonna support it as much as I support the Snyder Cut, and I've even backed off the Snyder Cut a little bit.
Well, yeah,
You know,
toxic
like,
fandom.
Of course, I still want it, but like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're on the same page with that. Toxic fandom has really made us just kind of back off and appreciate it from a distance.
yeah,
But the Ayer Cut, to me, is, you know, the quiet victim of this entire thing. You know, they went and did the Snyder Cut thing on him before they did it to Snyder.
right.
You know, except they didn't do it so dramatically. You know, they changed the story, took out a lot of elements, and, you know, reshot a couple things, but it completely changed his story, what he originally had. Unlike Zack Snyder, they used his family tragedy to sneak in and reshoot
Right.
the entire
Yeah.
freaking movie. You know, but still, the point is that there's a continuity with Zack Snyder's films that Ayer's cut would have had. You know, like
Right.
the stuff that's coming out now. You know, the parademons that would have been in it. You know, we don't know if he ever shot anything with the parademons, but we do know that those little fucking those bubble monster things.
Oh yeah, those things.
Those were originally parademons. That's what they were. And then they're like, no, let's take out these really cool looking parademons that you have, and just put in bubble monsters. They look like bubble wrap, but you know.
That's what people want.
Yeah, they look like bubble wrap, but you know, biological bubble wrap.
Biological bubble wrap.
Biological bubble wrap. That's what I'm going with. But then you go start going down this slippery slope. At what point in time do we stop trying to release everybody's cut? Because studios sometimes have cuts of movies that suck, that genuinely do suck and need to be overhauled and redone.
Right.
You know, but we can't be like hashtag everybody's cut. Hashtag everybody, like the Abrams cut. Hashtag release that J.J. Abrams cut of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? They did release his cut of Star Wars. You guys don't confuse releasing somebody's vision with releasing an extended cut.
Right.
That's not what that is. That's not what the Snyder cut thing is. That's not what the David Ayer thing is. It's no, they had different visions and the studio forced them into releasing a different type of movie, or did it sneakingly behind their back and just released the movie anyway.
Right.
You know, Zack Snyder has a Justice League movie with his name on it that he didn't film.
That's the unfortunate thing.
Right. But at what point in time does that change? You know, what point in time do we like accept, okay, maybe that was just a shitty ass movie, unless we know that they were done wrong. Like Josh Trank, Fantastic Four, Four Stick. Josh Trank was publicly known to be acting a fool on, you know, on the set. You know, even going as far as showing up drunk, or you know, they even said that sometimes it seemed like he didn't know what he was doing. And I'm a firm believer that he needed somebody's help. You know, somebody needed to be with him, guiding him through this process of handling a big franchise like Fantastic Four, a franchise that needs new life breathed into it. And I think he had a good idea of turning it into a sci-fi horror flick, but it was mishandled along the way, and there was nobody there to help guide him, and a more seasoned person, you know, kind of whispering in his ear. You know, he didn't have that. They're like, well, we know you're inexperienced, but here's this giant project. Oh, you're doing it wrong. Get the hell out of here.
Right.
You know, that's an injustice to me. And that's where you get these hashtag release this person's version of the movie. You know, but this J.J. Abrams bullcrap, what do you think of that? Do you think there's an actual J.J.? Do you think J.J. Abrams got robbed?
No, I don't think J.J. Abrams got robbed.
Well, I think the only way he got robbed was not being able to do the trilogy on his own.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But I think there were some problems behind the scenes with The Rise of Skywalker, but I don't think it was anything as major as
what kind of problems?
The Snyder Cut. Like Palpatine, he wasn't supposed to be there. They did that last minute. Colin Trevorrow, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was hired to direct Star Wars 9. The same when you know, J.J. Abrams was attached to 7, Rian Johnson for 8, and Colin Trevorrow for Episode 9. The leaks came out of what his original script was, and it was called Star Wars Duel of the Fates, which is a nice callback to Episode 1. And Palpatine was not in it. Rey was not a Palpatine. She was just going to be a nobody, like J.J. Abrams intended in The Force Awakens. Like, oh, she's a nobody. And then people were like, no, she needs to be related to somebody famous. And then J.J. Abrams was like, oh, okay, she's related to somebody famous now. So, I don't know. There's not, like, it's nothing major like the Snyder Cut.
People at Disney decided to say, hey, we're going to have different directors with 3 different visions shoot this trilogy. The entire trilogy is the injustice done. How poorly it was planned out. How do you decide, well, we want 3 different directors with 3 different visions to do all 3 of these movies, to do this one continuous story that we don't have a plan for, so we're just gonna let them shoot and write whatever the fuck they want to.
That's our DC talk right there. Abrams cut.
Yeah, it did kind of go into some Disney stuff. So we'll use that as a segue.
All right, yeah. There's still some other things we could talk about with DC. I mean, you have
the future movies and things.
Future movies. I mean, and something that I wouldn't mind talking at least a little bit about is rewatch Joker.
I want to redo my review. My review for that movie was crap.
It was fine. It was fine.
No, it wasn't. It was a bad day. I was having a very bad day. You remember that day?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I was having a very bad day.
Yeah,
and oh my God, I was so pissed. By the time I sat down in front of that camera, I was like, here's the Joker movie. Here's my thoughts. I give it an A. See ya.
Yeah, I remember that. But
I pretty much just recited what happened in the movie and said if I liked it or not.
yeah.
It was not a good review. I think about doing a review because I've been watching it now that we own it.
I've watched it like 6 times.
Oh, dude, I've watched it so many times. And God, there's so much to talk about in this film.
Yeah.
Like, the theory that I hated, and I still kind of hate, but has grown some validity to me that this entire movie might be a dream sequence.
Yeah.
The clocks saying 11:11.
Yeah, I don't want to believe that this is all a dream. I want this to be real. You know?
Right. Well, because a movie with dream sequences or a TV show that reveals at the end, all this was a dream sequence, that's robbing your audience. Your audience just invested an entire episode or an entire movie for no reason.
Right.
Now, the thing that happened existed.
I hate when movies do that.
I don't feel that Todd Phillips would do that to his audience. I think he would be smart enough to be aware to not do that to his audience.
Yeah. Now, I will throw this out there. I think there is a possibility that it could kind of be a dream, like more than they reveal. The ending. Like, I don't mean like in the hospital. I mean like where everyone's praising him.
So like he got into the accident and then after that is just a dream?
Yeah. Like, I don't know, something about that. Like,
here, I see that. Let me raise you one. I actually haven't talked about this with you yet.
What is it?
His friend who gave him the gun, and his friend said later, like he denied or he tried to say, well, you know, so and so said that you tried to buy his 38 off of him. He said, what? He said that? What if that is what happened? What if? But we only saw him give him the gun because that's what Arthur Fleck imagined happened. Even though he actually wanted to buy the gun off of him. He went searching for the gun. Because that character, nothing else about that character besides that one line of dialogue makes us think that his friend would be deceiving like that. There's nothing, I mean, he even shows up at the end, you know, to bring a bottle of whiskey and like, hey, we're sorry about your mom.
Yeah.
Dad, hey, what did you say to the police about me? That's something that's kind of stuck out to me. Like, that may have been his own warped imagination to make him think that person gave him the gun rather than he actually went out and sought the gun for himself.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah,
actually.
It's just something I've been pondering on the past few times I've watched The Joker. And also the clock. Everyone knows the clock. 11:11.
Everyone knows that, yeah.
But what I did notice about the clocks is that none of them have a second hand. So there is no like, oh, it's 11:11 and 10, 11, 12, 13 seconds. It's just 11:11, no second hand. That's just, I don't know if it means anything, but that's that. So
I think that one has, like you said, the most validity to it.
yeah, the 11:11. But if that came out to be true, it would bother me.
Yeah.
I would not look at the movie the same way again.
Me neither. And here's another interesting theory. Now, I'm not gonna act like I came up with this. I don't remember where I heard it, but I did not come up with this. When he sees Thomas Wayne, the next scene after that, it's him in his apartment getting in his fridge. The transition, because he encounters Thomas Wayne in the bathroom. They have a conversation. Thomas Wayne punches him, so he's like leaning over the sink because he has a bloody nose. The next shot
is him leaning
on his counter the exact same way.
You're right.
You know, that could just be like, oh, let's make it the same shot. Or it could be like, he never actually saw Thomas Wayne. And I don't know, it's interesting.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, and I just thought of this as you said that, okay?
Okay, all right.
That same scene, the movie that they're watching. They're in the theater watching this movie, and it's a black and white,
yeah,
you know, like Charlie Chaplin type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it is Charlie Chaplin movie, but it's something like this. Why would people in the 80s, rich, elite Gotham, be watching this old black and white movie? Now, rewind. back to when Arthur Fleck had the gun and he accidentally fired it off in his living room.
I think I know what you're talking about.
He's watching an old black and white series.
I just got excited.
I just thought of that when you said that possibly could have been a dream sequence. I mean, that whole scene to me has always seemed off, because how does someone get into a place like that, dress up as a bellboy or whatever, a maitre d' or whatever the fuck he was? How does he get into a Thomas Wayne? How does he get into straight contact with him realistically? Imagine he's sitting at home watching TV, imagining all this. What the movie that they're watching in the theater is what he's actually watching at home, and then we get snapped back into reality where he's at home, leaning over his counter and about to crawl into that fridge.
I like it. I like the theories, but I don't want them to be true. Because I like the stuff that happens in this movie.
Well, yeah, the only reason why I wouldn't want this to be true is because then it would strip away the fact that this is a character study. It would, but it wouldn't. It would be a definite character study of somebody with mental illness, but it will strip away that it's the rise of the Joker.
Yeah. So I don't want this to be true, but I like that theory.
Well,
and it leads me to believe
what you told me. I just kind of connected the dots as you were talking to me.
I didn't even come up with my theory, but and I don't know. It's just that's interesting. I kind of like that.
Having it become a dream sequence could work. It could make sense, but it'll definitely rob it from its Joker element.
Right. Yeah.
Because this movie is supposed to be a Joker origin, not an origin of somebody who thinks they're the Joker in their own head. Because we want this character to exist in a world where he can interact with these other characters that we also want to see.
Right.
So it could rob us that way, and that sort of mindset, then it needs to be a standalone, because they can't do a sequel. If they did a sequel, what's he gonna do? Pretend he's fucking Roger Rabbit? So let's move on to some Marvel stuff, because in this house we do like DC and Marvel. This whole, like one or the other bullcrap is just not us.
Yes.
We are equal opportunity movie goers. We don't support one or the other, and I don't like people trashing one or the other just because they are fans of one or the other. So this is neutral ground here. Keep that in mind. So with that being said, Disney can kiss my fucking ass. I'm done with these motherfuckers, man. I
love
so.
how you said we like Marvel and DC in this house, and then you go off on a rant how stupid Disney is.
Well, I'm telling you, man, this streaming service paralleling with the cinematic universe, I feel, is just a way to milk the fans.
It is, but it's working, so why stop?
Well, because it's not working. I don't have DC Plus. I don't have wow. I don't have Disney Plus. I don't plan on getting Disney Plus. So I guess I'm out. I guess I miss all that crap.
Yeah, I have Disney Plus.
I know you do, and you
wait for me to come over to watch Disney Plus.
Yeah, because you bring your PS4 over. For those of you who don't know, Seth, he lives in a modern household where his mom and I are split up. Yes, I'm in the fortunate situation where you can bring it over, but I want to see WandaVision. Everything about WandaVision seems appealing to me, and it's part of the streaming service. But it's supposed to go into Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah, they confirmed that at Comic-Con. They brought out the person who plays Scarlet Witch on stage when announcing Doctor Strange.
Elizabeth Olsen, which I just learned that was one of the Olsen twins' sister. I didn't know that. I guess both the Olsen twins' sister.
There's more of them?
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess there's a whole crop of Olsens out there. But now I can't not see it because she looks exactly like them. But anyhow, neither here nor there. So they brought her out, and they confirmed that her show will go into Doctor Strange 2.
Yes.
And the whole concept of that sounds interesting, where she's going to be more of a bad guy. Right?
That's a theory.
It's a theory that makes sense of somebody who had their brother and love of their life taken away from them, and we get to actually see how powerful this woman is, because she's part of the X-Men world, and she could be the key to introducing X-Men into this thing.
Yeah, they could do that. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Not yet. I don't expect the X-Men to show up next year, but That's an interesting theory. It seems like they're using Doctor Strange to make the multiverse a thing.
Yeah.
So like, technically, if they do that, that could be their way of bringing in the X-Men. That could also be their way of making everything Marvel ever canon with each other, similar to what DC just did. Yeah, the Crisis on Infinite Earths made DCEU canon with Adam West's Batman.
Yeah, well...
And now, it technically isn't confirmed, but that causes a thing. Like, you could say that everything DC ever is canon. There's nothing proving that wrong.
And now Marvel's doing that too.
That's what it seems like.
Well, that's what it seems like. But I just think it's kind of funny that in, Spider-Man Far From Home, that they try to talk about a multiverse in that, and then they just immediately disprove that a multiverse existed.
In the trailers for Far From Home, they said multiverse, and everyone was like, ooh, this confirms the multiverse is real. Like you just said in the movie. That's not what actually happened. He didn't come from a different world. Apparently, everyone who says that has never seen Doctor Strange, the first one, which introduced a multiverse.
Did it?
Yeah.
I don't remember much about that movie. That's one of my least memorable MCU movies.
That was one of my favorites. But, I mean, the whole thing is kind of about the multiverse.
Isn't the new one supposed to be more horror?
Supposedly. The director, Scott Derrickson, he is a horror director. He just left.
But,
it was a mutual disagreement. Creative differences.
Yeah.
That's all we know.
Yeah, I mean, aren't all disagreements mutual?
Usually. But
I disagree with you. No, you don't.
The point is, he wasn't fired.
Right. Yeah,
they agreed to part ways.
Right.
And I'm hearing, I don't know if this is true, but I'm hearing that a new director should be announced before February.
So do you think they're still going to stick with the horror tone of Doctor Strange 2?
I'm hoping they do.
I'm not so sure if that's where the creative differences would lie. We don't know. We don't know.
I'm sure we'll find out in the future.
But
I guess we'll find out with the movie how much horror it has.
I don't know Marvel or Disney to be like, oh, well, yeah, we're doing it this way. Nope, we're not doing it this way now.
Right. So he's gone now, and I'm nervous because I think he did a really good job on the first one, and I'm hoping they keep a horror element.
I mean, it's called the Multiverse of Madness. That title alone hints at some sort of horror style intentions.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, look at Far From Home again. A decomposing Iron Man come out of the ground.
That was creepy.
I would imagine it would be just like a lot of that.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I liked that darker kind of stuff. I kind of wish Marvel would do that, more.
Maybe this is where they start.
Yeah, I'm hoping, because MCU is kind of starting to feel exactly the same. In Infinity War, I didn't like the scenes with Captain America. Like, I mean, the final battle, sure, but like with him and his team, the whole train scene was boring. Like, cool, like sure the action's good, but like it's just boring. Like even in the theater, I'm like, when will this end?
Well, I think that had a lot to do with the scene. It's still part of the same scene, but like what was leading up to that moment. That scene between Wanda and Vision. That was just a very boring scene. I mean, heck, let's talk about Vision for 2 seconds here. Talk about what a mishandled character that was. You're the Mind Stone, and this guy can't get out of a sentence. But I'm in love. Okay, you befuddling twit. Let's move on. But that in Infinity War, the Wanda and Vision scene is the most boring scene. And I think that Captain America part where he comes into that scene was dragged down by what led up to it. Moving forward with the MCU, Black Widow.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. It looks fun, I guess, but I don't really care for it.
Right.
Like, I don't really think it's going to contribute that much to the future.
No, obviously
they've
not.
said it's going to contribute a little bit, but it's a prequel, which I think I would have been 10 times more excited for this movie if it actually came out when it took place. Like, it didn't even need to do that. If Black Widow was still alive in the MCU and they still made it a prequel, I would have been okay with that. But the fact that she's dead and now she's getting her own movie, it's just, I don't like that.
It is weird. It definitely is.
It's like making Iron Man 4, like now. Like,
it's definitely a stain on the movie. But what I like about it is it looks like a fun adventure, and I like adventure movies. And what I said in my trailer reaction for it was, it looks like a video game, almost like a Lara Croft meets Rainbow Six. It looks like it's going to be like a fun movie, but essentially will fall into the cracks of MCU continuity. But should we even be watching these movies just based on where they fall in the MCU? You know, maybe this is Disney's way of saying, hey, we want you to watch this as standalone movies now. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe that's why they're putting a Black Widow movie out, even though they don't really need to, but they're just, hey, here's a standalone movie. Enjoy it for that, please. You know? And Tony Stark can totally be in that movie, by the way.
I've heard that he is. Like, Robert Downey Jr. didn't film anything for this movie. It's kind of, it's similar to like Far From Home. You know, like you see him, but it's like from another movie. It's footage from another movie.
Right.
I heard it's similar to that. Who knows? It's a rumor. Maybe he's not even in the movie, or maybe he did film a scene. Maybe he's like Spider-Man: Homecoming. We don't know. So
yeah.
So that's I mean, that's all I have to say about Black Widow.
Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3. Ryan Reynolds a few weeks ago confirmed that they are actively making Deadpool 3.
Cool.
I think we knew that.
Rated R or not?
His solo movies, they'll keep R-rated, of course.
But
when he's in the MCU, they'll make him PG-13. I'm hoping they bring back Josh Brolin as Cable.
Well, yeah, they better. I mean, he's there.
Imagine if they recast him just because he played Thanos.
Oh, just forget that. What if they bring him back or don't bring him back? Then poor guy just abandoned his family in the future for no good reason. Even though he could totally go back now because Deadpool fixed the thing and cleaned up the timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just run through a list of MCU stuff here. The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Don't care. That trailer is going to have to impress me. But with that being said, Black Widow did that to me. So, because I was not looking forward to Black Widow, I'm actually shocked that I really enjoyed that trailer.
Yeah.
But Falcon and Winter Soldier, it sounds like a buddy cop film.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's basically a sequel to Civil War and Endgame at the same time. Because, like, of course, it takes place after Endgame. It's Sam kind of becoming Captain America.
Yeah.
But with it being a sequel to Civil War, Zemo, the villain of Civil War, he's the villain in the show.
I wonder if he's actually going to look like the way he's supposed to look.
Yeah. With
that purple hood thing that he wears.
Yep, they've already did like a mini costume reveal, kind of. Yeah, that's what he looks like.
Oh, cool. Well, that's good because I've known that character my whole life.
Yeah.
My brother collected comic books. Your uncle.
Yeah.
So like a lot of these things that I recognize are from comic books that I've seen just laying around the house, and I recognize that character. And when I found out that's the character that was supposed to be in Civil War, but I found out after I saw it, I was like, man, I wish I would have known that watching the movie. I would have been a little bit more, at least nostalgically invested into the story. Don't get me wrong, I liked Civil War, but all in all, that movie is pretty forgettable to me.
And yeah, it's enjoyable. It's kind of slow.
But yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier, they're going to have to sell me on it. It's another Disney Plus bullshit thing.
Oh yeah, the rest of the stuff after Winter Soldier is all Disney Plus shows.
Oh yeah, Loki.
We know. Okay, before we continue, we know almost nothing about these Disney Plus shows. We know a few details, but none of them, besides Winter Soldier and WandaVision, none of them have actually started filming yet.
Right. Well, Loki. Will that take place with him in the Time Stone? Is that what he took?
Yeah.
Or was it the Space Stone that he took? It's Space.
Space Stone. Yeah.
So
that's it's confirmed. That's what it is.
That's what that is.
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense.
In Endgame, when he disappears, he's traveling all the way to Disney Plus.
Yeah, because I remember that joke. I remember like people saying that, like, oh, there's his miniseries right there.
Yeah, people meant that as a joke, but it ended up being true.
it was so obvious, Yeah. But I didn't know it was confirmed, so that's good. Honestly, out of all the shows that I see here, the WandaVision and the Loki, I actually am very curious about because we didn't want him to die, and the way he was talking, it almost sounded like he knew something else was going to happen, even if he did die.
I'm most excited for WandaVision and What If.
Oh, that's
it's completely separated. It's like I mean,
what if what if this happened?
Yeah.
It's
an animated series, and the animation looks good, but like they released this little thing on Disney Plus talking about the future. They showed like a little snippet of clips.
Animated.
No trailer, but...
Yeah. Well, people are coming back to voice it though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like all the people, like whatever characters that were in the MCU are coming back to voice their characters in this show, correct?
Yeah, most of them.
Oh, so not all of them?
Chris Evans isn't confirmed, I don't think. Jeff Goldblum confirmed that he was coming back in the show. And then he said Robert Downey Jr. was coming back in the show. A few days later, they deconfirmed that. They were like, no, Robert Downey Jr. is not coming back. Jeff Goldblum is just losing his mind. One quick second, while we're on the topic of Jeff Goldblum, his show on Disney Plus is amazing. It's so good. It's just him doing things that he likes. He's just trying ice cream or shoes or barbecue.
You know what that reminds me of? Bill Murray, where he randomly shows up to things.
Except that was awesome.
Except Jeff Goldblum's is, hey, look, let me have the studio follow me around because we're gonna make money off this. And Bill Murray's like, this is my own personal journey.
Yeah.
Hawkeye, I could care less. I'm excited. Jeremy Renner. Jeremy fucking Renner. Listen, man, you are always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And for a reason. He tried to replace Matt Damon in the Bourne series.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah. It happened. They did a whole movie with Jeremy Renner, not replacing his character, but he's in the same universe, and they tried to almost kind of spin it off into Jeremy Renner is now going to lead this series.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
But it didn't work. It didn't work. And they had another one. Who was it? It was Mission Impossible. He was going to. He never did, but they had it planned where he was going to take over, as a new character in the Mission Impossible series, to replace Tom Cruise.
And here's Tom Cruise about to start filming Mission Impossible 7 and 8.
Right. So my point is Jeremy Renner, he's almost the leading man, but he's not.
Well, he's finally the leading man for once in his own Hawkeye show, which these shows are said to have a $25 million budget.
Oh, wow.
Per episode.
Well, I hope he doesn't drop the ball, because every time I've seen Jeremy Renner in a leading role, not every time, but what's that, Tag? Is that the name of it?
Tag, yeah.
The movie Tag?
Mm-hmm.
He did great in the action sequences, but then when he talked normally as a character, I just wanted him to shut up. Everything he said made me very uncomfortable to listen to him say these things. It makes me just as uncomfortable to watch him say these things as it would be for me to say them to you right now. It's like watching Barney, talk about sex. Like, like stop saying these things, and like, I don't know. And then his big moment in Endgame, they were just almost good, man.
What about the one that you make fun of sometimes on the dock?
You go to that planet, you find the guy in red, and you talk to him.
Yep.
Okay, you talk to him. Is there not a better cut of that line?
I guess not.
That was some of the worst delivery of dialogue. That was the worst delivery of dialogue in that movie. And then even before that, when he's on Vormir with Black Widow, I don't know, he has this different way he's delivering his dialogue. He's like, I'm beginning to think you and I are talking about two different people. You see, kid, one of these days. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day soon. I don't know. To me, that's a consistent thing that Jeremy Renner has. He really knows how to deliver dialogue in a slightly uncomfortable manner. And that's why he hasn't succeeded as a leading man. So they're putting $25 million budget per episode on this Hawkeye thing. I hope Jeremy doesn't shit the bed.
Oh, God. Let's not forget his other leading role that he's about to do. Well, maybe. If it actually gets made. Spawn. He's not Spawn, but...
Oh, where he plays the cop. Mm-hmm. See, that I can see him in. Those lower key dialogue moments, I can see him in. I put Jeremy Renner in the same league that I put Donnie Wahlberg in. You're not Mark Wahlberg. He's a cast actor. He can play this one character really well. And I feel like Jeremy Renner does fit into that, that beat cop working on the streets, working the case real closely, probably has a rough backstory and a life he's not happy with, doesn't care if I live or die type of guy. I think that's a good Jeremy Renner zone to be in. That and action. Shut your fucking mouth and do action. He can do those. But like leading role in a high budget movie, performing, intense dialogue, meaningful dialogue, keep him away from that.
I'm hoping he does well.
I didn't mean for this to turn into a Jeremy Renner hate show. So I see, what's this Ms. Marvel? I just saw this on your list here. What?
Yeah, the last 3 characters I don't know nothing about, but they're all getting their own Disney Plus
It's
shows.
Ms. Marvel.
Yes.
Is that
Ms. Marvel.
Captain Marvel?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Nope, different character.
Oh, that's
completely. She
convenient.
stretches.
She what?
Have you ever heard of Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's she version of Mr. Fantastic.
I'm sure there's more to it, but I don't
essentially
know
that's what
anything about Miss Marvel.
That's what her power is.
Yep.
She's the mom on The Incredibles.
Yep. Except she's like 16, so.
Okay,
All
well
right,
that's cool. Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan. Ah! That's his name. It's Moonlight Shyamalan. Moonlight Shyamalama Ding Dong. I would believe that's his name.
Yeah. Moon Knight. Apparently he's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. The first time I ever heard of him, Lego Marvel Superheroes. He was a playable character in that, and all he did was throw a moon. So there wasn't really much character development there. He wasn't in the story.
Wait. Does he like Thanos Infinity War throw a moon?
No.
Or does he throw like little?
It's like a
moon,
batarang.
Moon. Oh.
No.
Crescent moons. Like.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
That's like a boomerang.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Except it doesn't come back to him. So
it's a boomerang that don't work.
There's not much. There's not.
This guy sounds great. I hope this character is dumb as bricks.
No, because
I throw moons at you.
No, because apparently he's supposed to be like Batman level cool.
Oh yeah, well,
I'm sure he is, but like I said, we know nothing about Moon Knight.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure.
So
maybe
my description of him throwing crescent moons isn't that good of a description.
Maybe one day when we get a trailer, we'll like heighten this clip of this podcast.
Yes,
and we'll listen back and listen to how ridiculous and ill-informed we were of this character.
Yep.
I blame our lack of knowledge of actual comic books.
Yeah. One last thing about Moon Knight.
Moon Knight Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reportedly, they're eyeing Daniel Radcliffe.
Who's that?
He played Harry Potter.
Oh.
Supposedly they're eyeing him to play Moon Knight.
That shows you how much I've watched those movies.
Oh, I've seen the first 3.
I
don't like any of them, and everyone's like, "Oh, you just need to keep watching." I'm like, I've watched the first 3, and all of them were boring. I don't want to keep watching them.
Maybe we should. Maybe when we start our Patreon, we can have people request us to do it on there.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I think that's a given.
She-Hulk. It's a she, and she's a Hulk.
And she's green. And she's a lawyer.
Isn't she?
And that's all I know.
Isn't she cousins to Hulk? Isn't that a weird thing that happened? I think I remember reading something about this, like that they are actually related, but ended up having kids, and it got weird and incestual.
I don't know.
I don't know. If anybody knows what I'm
She-Hulk.
talking about, please enlighten us in the comments below.
Again, I've seen She-Hulk and Lego Marvel, and that's it.
And it seems pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I mean, she's.
I don't know. Is she gonna be, like, the Hulk that we know, like, just dumb, like, oh, Hulk, or is she gonna be like Professor Hulk but a woman?
It's like Professor Hulk. It's weird because like she's like a human. She's like, she's not super big like Hulk, and she doesn't transform back and forth. She's just a human who's really strong and green.
Oh. Well, yeah. If they made her,
always weirded me out.
If they like literally just put Hulk in a bikini and a ponytail.
That's weird.
Maybe now I understand why they went this other direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully, I'm sure these shows will explain who they are.
Of course.
Because Doctor Strange, like I said this before, and same goes for Ant-Man.
Same goes with every
Guardians
MCU.
of the Galaxy.
Same goes with every MCU movie that you've ever seen, Seth.
Kinda. Well, okay, yeah.
You didn't know anything about Iron Man until you saw Iron Man in a movie.
Well, Iron Spider-Man came out when I was like 4.
Right. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you've grown up with this stuff. So the cinematic universe is your universe to the Marvel world.
Yeah, I think that's why I can't get into comic books, because to everyone else who read comic books in like the 80s, before superheroes were really, or before superhero movies were really a thing, like there've been a few but nothing major.
Right.
To them, this stuff is like comics to life. To me, it's like a downgrade. It's like movies to books. Like, is this?
Well, see, and a lot of people will argue with you on that, saying, "Well, you need to read it." Like, I think one good example of this would be like the Infinity War saga.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in seeing your thoughts if you actually picked that up, because you would be able to mentally put in your brain of what you've seen on cinema and put it into these books. I bet that would help you kind of relate and see how much of a richer story those stories actually are.
Yeah.
Because if there's one thing that is very known, movies are just the tip of the iceberg, but underneath is the book. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know the comic books. Like, really, you can name anything you wanted from a character. It's likely that you get that in some sort of comic book. Name something you'd want with Batman. You know, like something really cool that you'd really want to see Batman do. There's a good chance that he's done that in a comic book. To me, it doesn't have the same epicness, if I could say that, as like seeing a movie.
And
on
that's
screen.
because you grew up with this world.
The movies.
Yeah, and like I know there's a lot of people that will fight you to the death, you know, and say, well, you know, I grew up in a world where the comic books were all we had, and that we created this world, you know, in our heads. But hopefully, this cinematic universe will find its niche into people's imaginations for them to expand off of and create new things. Because that's one thing I really want, is people to create new things and move forward with art. I really want creativity to come out of this, because I feel like besides these comic book movies, we've been in a creative rut cinematically. And I would really love to see that get a new jump start. You know, and probably leading off of the comic book cinematic worlds that will broaden movies that aren't comic book based, you know, and be able to create something new, fun, and adventurous. Yeah, we've talked for almost 2 hours on this. Do you have anything else you want to add to your hopes, expectations, desires, or love, hates, or whatever, for whatever cinematic, whatever you want to talk about with comic book movies?
No.
Me neither. With that being said, everybody, thank you so much for listening to us rant. We appreciate you guys listening. If you have any comments or anything you want to talk to us about, we'll be active with you, talking with you in the comments. So please let us know below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and a little bell ding thing so you get notified every time we upload a new video. Check out some more of our videos right here. And as always, stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.